All right, well, good morning, everyone. Great to be with you this Friday morning. Today is December 26th, 2025. Other than holidays and travel conflicts, we get together most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central, go through the grant, and cover related topics. Today's topic is very, very important, and I think it'll surprise many of you. On Frequently on our morning trainings, we talk about the formula for funding. What is it that it takes to legally and ethically get a large amount of business funding? And we've talked about how it takes a fundable business entity as well as the three C's: credit, collateral, and capacity. But there are some other variations that you may or may not be aware of. So let's cover that today. And again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to type it into the Q&A. So our title today is Your Office Address Matters, that there are some lenders that only loan money in specific geographic areas. In other words, not everywhere do they make their funding available. Our nonprofit website is 509pacific.org. A lot of good resources there, as well as the opportunity to participate as either a grant participant and or as an affiliate. And then our office phone number is listed here. So our office address location impacts our access to capital. Some of the most attractive business lenders are only available to businesses in specific locations. So I think a lot of times entrepreneurs, they may not put as much thought as they should or could into where is their business going to be domiciled? Where is it going to be based? Not only are tax rates differently in different states and different municipalities, some lenders are only offering funding for businesses in certain geographic areas. And that's our topic today. So anytime we see the green here on today's topic, it's specifically important because it's a bit of a prompting, if you will. So it clarifies that through a grant, our 501c3 nonprofit does provide a free commercial address. So the commercial address would be the official address of the business, which doesn't mean that you have to operate from there. Take Starbucks, right? They have coffee shops all across the country, but they have one specific corporate address. Same with Tesla. Recently Elon Musk moved the corporate address of Tesla from California to Texas because of some of these same principles. So, with that being said, we can provide any client a free commercial address through the grant. We don't charge at all for the address. Now, they will pay for us to forward their mail, as you'd expect, but the address itself is provided free. So, they wouldn't have to go lease or sign up with a Regis or a WeWork or any of these virtual addresses. So, what I want to do today is go through three specific lenders that are very attractive, that are, I guess you'd say, easier to get approved for than most general lenders, but they are location sensitive. That if you don't have a business address in their coverage area, you just simply can't get approved. So the first one is the Chapman Loan Program. Back when I worked for the SBA, that's where I became familiar with the Chapman Loan Program. It's referred here now as CLP. The Chapman Loan Program started as a grant from the federal government, and it's only available in a few specific counties. About 10 counties in the whole country are all that's covered. But the great news is the free commercial address that we provide to entrepreneurs is, in fact, in one of those few counties. The Chapman Loan Program is designed to provide long-term financing to eligible businesses. Loan proceeds can be used for just about anything. We can buy fixed assets, we can do new construction, renovations, We can use it for leased property, equipment, inventory, and working capital. So very, very broad. What's especially unique about the Chapman Loan Program is what's underlined right here. They'll actually loan money to the client that is specifically being used to be shown as an equity injection for other types of loans. And if that's a little too complicated, let me summarize. Let's say that we were to go for an SBA loan, Small Business Administration loan. The SBA loans typically require at least a 10% owner contribution. So don't think of it as like a down payment when you buy a car, but let's say that we needed $100,000. The SBA would look to the borrower and say, okay, are you able to bring 10% of that 100,000 to the table? And if so, then we'll loan you the other 90%, 90,000. So it requires not really for the owner, for the client, for in this case the grant participant, to have to use their own money. They're not paying it to anyone, but they have to show they have enough liquidity to contribute 10%. Now, not all sources require that, but SBA loans, for example, do. So we can commonly use a Chapman loan program in addition to an SBA loan. So when the client doesn't have their own owner contribution, we can use the Chapman funds for that purpose. Now, the downside of the Chapman loan program is its size. It goes from 30,000 on the low end to 250,000 on the high end. Could we form multiple entities and do multiple Chapman Loan Program loans? Yeah, possibly, but on a per entity, a per company basis, there's a hard cap of 250,000. But again, as I just referenced, we could in fact use the Chapman Loan Program in addition to other loan programs and go much higher. But Chapman itself caps out at 250,000 per company. Any questions that anyone has on lender number one? So it's an unusual, in a good way, lender because of its breadth of financing that they'll allow their funds to be used for an equity injection. However, it's available only in a handful of counties. But the good news is we can provide an address for any client so they would geographically qualify. And again, no cost for the address, they just pay for the mail forwarding. Okay, so I think we're good there. So now let's look at another one that goes larger, offers larger funding. So the next is a CDFI, which is an acronym standing for a Community Development Financial Institution. So this was lender number one, Chapman. Now we're looking at lender number two. This lender has simplified eligibility requirements. And so when I share these, I'm not just making it up. I'm pulling it from what the lender has provided us to be able to share with you. So the eligibility requirements for a CDFI are much less than for normal business loans, easier to qualify. We do have to be over the age of 18, no surprise there. We can have an SSN or an ITIN. This is kind of obvious, but again, it's what they provided us. So I'm the messenger. You must want to start or grow a business, of course. So they're not just going to loan money for a personal loan. It would be a business loan. They are going to require, as pretty much all business lenders will, a loan package, and that's what we do. We help clients build out the business plan and projections. Anyone that's using one of our shelf corps, which comes with a free commercial address, all of this is already completed. The business plan and financial projections are ready to go. We can edit if the client wants, but they're actually already developed. And again, highlighted in green, we can only access the CDFI if we're in specific geographic areas. No different than what we talked about with the Chapman Loan Program in number one, But again, the great news is we provide a free commercial address and it does geographically qualify for Chapman and for the CDFI option. What makes lender number two unique, different, better? They currently have an offer for 0% interest. And no, we're not talking about 0% interest credit cards. No, no, no. We're talking about business loans. They currently have a promotion for 0% interest. Can't beat that. It's like free money. They do offer lines of credit. Now, the lines of credit only go up to 50,000. And the minimum credit score is only 600. So that's a very low threshold to qualify, much lower than what you'd normally see from other lenders. And then they also do business loans, including startup loans up to 250,000. And again, the minimum credit score is only a 600. That's very low. Now, if you have someone in mind that their credit score is below 600, remember, we now offer a free credit sweep as part of the process. So I can't imagine that we couldn't bring anyone up to a 600 or above. That's a very low threshold. So we've covered lender number one, the Chapman CLP. We've covered lender number two, the CDFI. One more to go, and it goes much larger. So you can see we're kind of building in size. So now we're going to get down to lender number three, and it's referenced as a guaranteed business loan. This is a nonprofit lender. Doesn't mean that the borrower needs to be a nonprofit, but the lender itself is a nonprofit. And that typically tips you off that their underwriting will probably be more generous, be easier to qualify because they're primarily motivated by fulfilling their mission versus bottom line profitability. So, what are some unique attributes of this guaranteed business loan? These loans will go up to 5 million, so much larger than the numbers that we talked about before. Now, we have clients commonly come to us and need higher than 5 million. That's okay. I'm just sharing with you these three specific lenders that are geographic specific. So, yes, there's other lenders that go above 5 million. And we could always use this for the first 5 million and then a separate lender for anything above that also. Interest rates are very low, 2.75%. Simplified application. So I actually wanted to share with you what they're looking for. Now, different lenders have different underwriting criteria, but for the guaranteed business loan, again, this is specifically from them. This is what I've been authorized to share with you. So it's not me making up anything or even altering the language. This is literally cut and paste. So, what does it take for approval for lender number three? We need to be able to answer some questions. So it's really not even a complete business plan. It's they ask these 7 questions, and we need to be able to provide a coherent answer. What 7 questions are they going to ask? They're going to want to know a little bit about the business in terms of the business history and the management history. Most of this we provide everyone automatically with that loan package that we provide, by the way. All right, so number one, a little background on the business, nothing too complicated. Number two, well, what is it the business does? What do they offer? What are the goods or services they offer? How does the business market those services? What's the geographic area served? Now, keep in mind, we can have a business that's located somewhere and serve clients that are above and beyond that geographic area. So don't confuse where our customers are versus where our business is located. Could be the same, but it doesn't have to be. Identify key customers, major competitors, and long-term plans. So really not all that complicated, is it? So we know exactly what they're looking for, so we can work with each grant participant to prepare a response. And it's generally available. So we do have to meet the geographic location but it's not for some narrow type of businesses. So what do we need to do now? If you're someone that's looking for funding to start or grow a business, what we want to do is go get a free funding proposal. And there's an application, doesn't cost anything. There's no upfront cost. There's no hard inquiries, and we're going to do that on 509pacific.org, which we introduced up here at the top, and it's at the bottom and the footer of the page. So 509 Pacific. Now, if you are one of our affiliates, one of our distribution partners, you'll have a unique link that you'll have people fill out, not going to our main website. And if you want to become an affiliate, it's free and easy on 509pacific.org. You can do so. So, what happens once the free funding proposal is completed? One of our advisors will personally reach out to each individual that completes the app. We're going to look at that app and see what do they have and which lenders do they best match to. So some people will come to us and they don't even have a business yet. That's fine. Some already do have a business. That's fine. So it's not either or. But if they don't yet have a business, normally we'll ask them if they want one of the free shelf corps that we provide. The free shelf corp, again, includes the free address. So by having the free address, then we can qualify for lender one, lender two, and or lender three. Now, if they already have a business and it's somewhere else, there's other types of funding that they could qualify for, or they could keep the business they have. We could provide them a free shelf corp and do the capital raise under it so we could access these three types of lenders. But regardless, we'll work with the client on what they want. So then we do need to meet the underwriting. We never want to think, oh, it's so easy that I just ask for money and the bank's just going to send the money over. No, we have to qualify, and qualification varies by lender. That's why I went through, for example, how this lender does their qualifications. So that's what we do. We're considered technical advisors. So we work with each participant, each grant participant, each client, and get their business set up properly. And again, there's no upfront cost for that. And through you'll see, we literally guarantee the capital raise, so there's no risk to the client. So with the funding proposal, no upfront costs, no risk, no hard inquiries. Everybody gets at least one offer. All right, so with that being said, let me shrink this down a bit and let's open it up to questions, comments, concerns you have. My goal today, in summary, was to bring to your attention that location matters, that some lenders don't loan money to businesses all across the country. Some are specific to regions, some to states, some drill down to a per county level, that if your business isn't in one of the approved counties, then you can't get funding from that lender. Not to suggest that there's not other lenders that could be available. We went through three specific types of geographic specific lenders that we provide access to using our free commercial addresses: the Chapman Program, the CDFI option, and the guaranteed business loans. Who has questions, comments, concerns? The most important thing that you can take away from today's session is to know what to do next. And that depends upon which hat you wear. If you're someone that's looking for funding to start or grow a business, then you would want to go to 509pacific.org and go ahead and fill out a free funding proposal. That would be your next step. Conversely, if you're someone that is either current or prospective distribution partner, an affiliate, this is good information for you to know, but really your role is the same. As an affiliate, it's not a sales role. You're just creating awareness and asking people to get a free funding proposal, but then you're using your link, not the general link. But with that being said, Who has questions, comments, concerns about what we covered today? Christopher brings up a great point. This window of time we have between now and the end of the year, we're past Christmas, which was of course yesterday, and now this is typically the time of the year that people are considering what are they going to do different next year in 2026 than what they did in 2025. What can they do different? What can they do better? How can they be more successful? And so this is a great time to help people get funding set up. Looks like Charles is asking about time frame. Well, once a client goes and fills, I shouldn't say client, once someone goes and fills out a free funding proposal application either on 509pacific.org or using a link from one of our affiliates, normally within one business day, we're able to get them offers. Now, in some cases, we need to follow up with them and ask a few questions to be able to get them offers. But normally we can get them offers, even pre-approvals, in as soon as one business day. And to the best of my knowledge, we're even with yesterday being a holiday, I believe we're caught up as of this morning. We fell a little bit behind a week ago because of the influx. So we can get the offers to the participants normally in one business day. Then they can accept the offers they want or not accept those that they don't want. As far as the time frame for funding, it'll vary by lender. So the time frame to get a Chapman loan funded versus a CDFI loan versus one of these guaranteed larger business loans varies. So we can be very specific on time frame on the front end, but once we've identified the right lender and we're going through the lender specific process, time frames can be different. But we certainly do have options where if clients are really needing funding, let's say within a week or less, yes, we have options that can turn it around very quickly, and maybe that's just part of their capital raise. All right. For those of you who are affiliates, you're already signed up as an affiliate. Curious, what do you see as your projections between now and the end of the month, which is also end of the year? How many people are you envisioning that you think you're going to be able to feed in to get a free funding proposal? So Aziz and Charles and Corinthian, Dwight, we have 521 of you on today. Lamy, just looking for feedback. Sanya, you've recently became one of our affiliates. Because I think if you're not able to average at least one a day, you may misunderstand the role because the role of an affiliate is not to sell anything to anyone. You're just simply educating them that there is a way that they can get a free funding proposal easily with no upfront cost. There's a lot of people, maybe not in your direct world, but there's a lot of people out there looking for funding to start or grow a business. And if you can show them that you can provide a solution to their problem, I think you'll get a lot of traction. All right, any questions any of you have today? Um, All right, Varney brings up a good point. So it's not your role as an affiliate to do the matching. So certainly you can educate, and that's what we'd like you to do, and that's part of our mission, part of our mandate. And so what I've shared with you here is true, of course, but it's not really your role, based on what Varney's comment is, to go match people up. The goal is just to let them know, hey, if you're looking for funding to start or grow a business, here's a link, no upfront cost, and we can get you some offers. That's really what the affiliate does. Then at that point, then the data that we receive on their one-page application, as well as if we need to follow up and ask some follow-up questions, allows us to do the match, and then the system takes care of itself. As an affiliate, there's no cost to be an affiliate. You're paid 5 points, 5% of each referred client's capital raise. And I know for some of you, like Aziz, 5% isn't much money, but 5% of a minimum capital raise of 100,000 is 5,000 to you. And then our average capital raise is now seven figures. So you're looking typically at 50,000 or more for referring each client. So it's not so bad. But it's an affiliate program. All right. Any other questions anyone has today? We'll be back on Monday for our normal trainings, and hopefully today was helpful. Hopefully it opened your eyes, it increased your awareness that there are some lender types that are kind of niche lenders that are very attractive, but they're not available everywhere. And so what you and I can do is help these individuals have a commercial address in a geographic area in which that they can qualify. And I see Dave is asking, yes, so we record these trainings and we'll put them up on our YouTube channel here shortly. All right, thanks everyone. See you back Monday. Have a great weekend and let us know what we can do to assist you. Bye-bye.